What are my favourite pictures for 2019? I get asked that a lot. I'll run through my answer in 8 seconds' time. What's your favourite photos? I get asked that a lot. So today I'm going to run through car pictures. Starting with number 10, this shot from the Belgian Grand Prix. That's Kimi Rikknen right in the centre, number 7 in the white car. Around him, lots of other cars, lots of colour. I've used a 600mm lens. I've shot from probably 80 to 100 metres away, but the condensing of the cars is something that pleases my eye anyway. So I've put this one in at number 10. Number 9, we're going to nip over to Hungary. And this was during FP1. Now you can tell it's a practice session because up here, see this little thing that sits on top of the car here? That's actually 2 cameras inside there. One points to this tyre and one points to that tyre. And you will only see this in practice sessions. You won't see this in qualifying or races. So this is FP1. Lance Stroll has come around the chicane. What are we, probably late morning, and he's got sideways. I'm standing right next to the track, so if over here you can see a guy here. This is what I am on this side of the track. There is no wire above the fence. It's just me looking at Lance getting sideways. I'm shooting at 100th of a second, which is reasonably slow. So as you can see, his helmet here is sharp, but the car is blurred because the car is obviously moving faster or slower than what my camera is panning. So I got one beautifully sharp shot of his helmet, and this is him with a bit of smoke coming off his tyre back here, out of control sideways, and lucky for Lance, he ended up righting it and continuing on with maybe just a flat spot on his tyre. For my 8th favourite photo, I'm going to take you back to Belgium in Spa, and we've got Valtteri Bottas at Le Combs. Now, this shot is remarkably different to the shot taken when you stand above the fence. What I'm doing here is shooting through the bottom rung of the Armco. Now, it's a gap of, what is that? 8 centimetres or so, and I've got a 135mm lens. I'm in a very uncomfortable position on the ground, shooting through the Armco, and I do that so that we don't see the road. See down here, you can see a little bit of tarmac here, but mostly it's grass in the foreground, beautiful trees in the background. Now, if I stand up higher, you will see a whole lot of crap here. You'll see vehicles, you'll see fencing, and it's just not a pretty picture. So for my eye, I like this because it's such a clean looking image. Car, greenery, and a little bit of tarmac, a little bit of red and yellow over here at number 8. Number 7, what have I selected for this one? Max Verstappen in Germany at the German Grand Prix on the final corner. Now I like this because I've shot at a slow shutter speed. Down here you've got the reflection of Red Bull in the water on the track, and this is was actually the area that many cars came to grief. Putting their wheels off here was like putting it onto ice. And up the top here you've got some nice colour in the crowd, which is blurred because I'm shooting at a slow shutter speed. This was shot at 1/60th of a second. I panned the camera at hopefully the same speed as the car, and everything's sharp. And because the car is a fair way away, I can normally get front to back sharp. If that car was a lot closer to me, I might be able to get the helmet sharp, but perhaps the front and or the back will be blurred. Jump forward to number 6 now, and we'll take you to testing in Abu Dhabi. I've picked this because we've got this beautiful pink and purple sky here. You've got the lovely rich red of the Ferrari. You've got this fella here who's in action here, holding his hand out, showing Sebastian where he needs to stop. And apart from that, it's a reasonably clean image, and it's clean because there's not a great deal going on in pit lane during testing. There's only 10 cars, minimal crew out there, and to me, this just appeals to me because of the colours involved. Number 5, I'm going to take you to Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix this year. Charles Leclerc gets off the track. He starts kicking up dust, rocks, all sorts here. And I love this because there's such detail up here. You know, if you were to zoom in, I don't think I can zoom in that much here, but yeah, you can see there's a whole lot of crap in the air. What I also like is the fact that over here there's nothing, over here there's nothing. It's a perfectly clean image. And I do remember shooting this particular shot in one of the practice sessions, and one of the very good photographers, one of the best in the world, standing next to me, and he missed it. Now, there's not very often that I get something that he would miss, but this time the tables were turned. I should also say that over a typical race, I'll shoot about 15,000 images. I'll pare that down to about 1,000 good ones, which I'll keep and put up onto prostarpics.com. And of that, I hope to get 5 or 6 great ones that might make my book, which will come out next year. So there's a lot of photos to wade through to get a couple of good ones. And of course, the reason we shoot, or I shoot anyway, 15,000 odd per race over 4 days, is because every time you press the shutter button, that shutter's taking 3 or 4 shots, because I normally set it for high speed action. For my 4th favourite shot of the year, I'm going to take you back to Abu Dhabi. Esteban Ocon coming down the hill, out of pit lane and heading out onto the track. Now, in the number 31 car here, if I zoom in, it's pretty sharp. Remember, we've got pretty low light here. So I'm happy with the sharpness, but more so I'm happy that there's no crap around here. It is perfectly clean, and it's very rare that you get a perfectly clean background and a crest shot here. So in other words, you can see underneath the car. Now, you can only get this picture in testing. If you were to take this any stage during the 4 days of the event, you would find that up here, running across here, first of all, would be some wiring, and there'd be a pole here. That's because they have the camera that runs along pit lane. It's hung from these wires above on these 2 metal poles. So this is the only time that you can take this perfectly clear picture. Number 3, as we work our way down to number 1 in my top 10 for this year, and they may not be your top 10. If you know my work, you've probably got perhaps some different ideas. Romain Grosjean locking up with the Ferris wheel behind him, coming into the pits, and one of the practice sessions during the Japanese GP. Now, I love this because obviously you've got smoke coming off the tyres, and I think because we've had some dark clouds, remember this was the event that we had the typhoon causing all the drama. So you've got a lot of clouds, they're lovely dark clouds, and it adds that sense of drama, and I know he was pretty happy with it too. He thought it was one of the best pictures he'd seen of him throughout the year. So Romain, thank you very much for giving me this great opportunity. By the way, I'm sitting on the ground here and there's nothing between me and the car. This is one of the rare spots where we can get pretty close to the cars and have nothing in between us in terms of a fence. 2 photos to go now, and my second favourite one is this coming out of the tunnel in Monaco. I really adore the fact that you've got this run of lights along here. You've got reflection here. Now, on the right-hand side over here is some gaps that look out to sea. So you're seeing the open air, the blue sky reflected off this darkish wall on the other side of the track. Now, the car's just come out into light and is perfectly lit, and you've got this red halo, which was only put on for this race, I think, in memory of Niki Lauda, who passed away. And there's actually a signature here. I don't know whether, I only noticed that the other day, that that signature of Niki has been on for the last half of the season. So Lewis Hamilton in a beautiful look here, coming into the sun, Monaco Tunnel, my second favourite photo. So what is my number 1 shot? Well, if you've followed me this year, you would probably know that it is Daniel Ricciardo in Germany coming straight towards me. It still gives me tingles when I look at this photo, and I didn't realise at the time how good it was. And a lot of people say, how did you get that photo? Are you standing on the track? How was it done? Well, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but if you've missed it, it's a very simple matter. I'm standing on the track. The car isn't racing. The car is coming around onto the grid. So it's done its warm-up laps and where it goes through the pit lane, and now it continues to the back of the grid. And what I'm doing is standing right next to the guy that holds the front jack, knowing full well that if I stand a half a metre back from him, he's going to obviously direct Daniel where to go, so he's going to be coming nearly straight at me. I've got beautiful spray coming off these tyres here, and of course even more coming off Max's because he's driving faster. And then I think this makes the shot, the wet weather tyres, which we don't often see in Formula One. The other thing that makes it is the crowd, the colour. Now, if I was to take this at another track, and I often do take these shots at other tracks, often you get a very long throw and it's nowhere near as interesting. So the crowd, the wet weather, the fact that he's coming directly towards me, the second car in the shot, the water coming off the tyres, all adds up to it being a unique photo that very few people will see. And I don't think I'll get that shot again because A, it has to be raining, We have to have wet tyres on the car. We have to have a grandstand just behind this, and I've got to be lucky enough to know exactly where to stand when that car's coming straight towards me. So that's my top 10 for 2019, and thank you for sticking right through to the end. Remember, you can like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and hit the bell button so you get notified. Your comments are always appreciated. You can own any of my images by heading to prostarpics.com. My blogs and podcasts are available at kimillman.com. You'll get pics live from the track during the season and pics during the week off season by heading to Instagram at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.